Metroid Zero Mission is the remake of the first Metroid game on NES, as you might already know if you're familiar with the series. I was always kind of interested in this entry mostly just because I really loved Fusion, and I also really liked Prime from when I played, at least, Prime 1. And after seeing the announcement for Metroid Dread, it definitely helped me kickstart me playing the game, and that also led me into, wondering what unused content was in the game, of course. And yes, this will only be on Zero Mission without any mention of the NES original because they do have different cut content. And any information that I'm talking about will be gotten from the cutting room floor and the Metroid fandom site, so I will mention that part when I get to it, and I will link both of those sites in the description below. So let's get into it. And one of the things that actually went unused was a feature that was in Super Metroid, and that was able to toggle equipment on and off, and it has been guessed it might have been used for debugging features. But there are prototypes of the game that has a debug menu, and that can be accessed on the status menu like Metroid Fusion. But in the debug menu, you can toggle off and off any ability, even if you never got it. But this does kind of lead into that maybe the devs might have intended the player to be able to toggle it on and off, considering having one just for debugging might have been redundant. It was also scrapped because, again, there wasn't much of a reason to it, since in Super Metroid you could actually combine different beams to make special versions, and of course you can't really do that in this game, but you can actually enable this thing with cheat codes, which is nice. Some other unused stuff involves some cut rooms, and they actually do use the dual assets from Wario Land 4, and they're all pretty much test rooms, so it's understandable to why they were cut. But for the Wario Land 4 assets, I actually don't know why they're here, and my only guess is that maybe they used the same engine, or maybe they just needed some random sprites, so they just ported the ones from that game to here for whatever reason. But also, I will put all the rooms on screen if you want to look at them. There were also some unused graphics, and one of them is for the item switch feature. And yes, again, I will be showing these ones on screen, so pause if you want to. There also used to be a non-animated version of the expansion items, along with another tile set that went unused, which was just a really badly drawn version of the expansion items, as well as some other stuff like those in the game, and some other assets from Wario Land 4, and just, again, a few other stuff. And there also is data on the cartridge that exists for Metroids, and it actually has like all of its different parts as separated, and my only guess for this is that maybe they wanted to see how each sprite would be attached, but again, that's my guess. It also does show different numbers for the electrical effect animation, so I guess the devs could remember which one plays in what order. It also does show graphics for Zero Suit Samus's auto charging stun gun, which is a placeholder for the charge wheel that shows up in the HUD. Along with that, these graphics do dynamically load from the ROM. There are also some font graphics that also shows up in Fusion, and it's just a unused LNR icon. And it also does show different versions of capital X for whatever reason. Another placeholder graphics has some text on it, and it actually translates to map. The last unused one has to be one that just says Gekai Tai Machine, and it's only found in Zero Mission. Moving on from there, there was actually a sub-boss that actually ended up being cut, and this one just so happens to be Crocomire from Super Metroid. The coding here is actually super incomplete, and it only runs around, and all it can really do is take damage. There's a ROM hack that actually does make this into a full boss, so I'll link that in the description below. There's also a leftover track from Metroid Fusion, and that song was actually used as the opening song from that game. There's also something else related to the intro subtitles, where there was large text that was in English no matter what language you're in, but it went unused for whatever reason, but you could still use cheat codes to see it. Also, the red doors in the game were actually planned to use 5 ministers instead of 1, like how it is in the final game. Also, the game's art style was planned to be more cartoony, which was more similar to the original game. And I know this isn't cut content, but I thought it was nice trivia. And I also, again, did get this pile of information from the fandom site, so I'll link that one in the description as well. Some other nice trivia is that each region actually has slight changes to the title screen, where the European version changed the press start to start game, and a language option was added along with the Japanese version, replacing the TM with the R with a circle around it. Another thing similar with Fusion is that in the Japanese version, it has the ability to swap between kanji and hiragana, and it does say for adults with kanji and for kids for hiragana. Also, something kind of cool, all of the versions do have English and Japanese, but the US and European versions don't show the Japanese option. Also, the European option adds a whole bunch of European languages as well. Along with that, the Japanese version only shows 2 different language settings for it, and you can actually access these languages by changing certain values. Again, that's more like relating to the ROM stuff. There are also some slight differences in the file select, where the Chinese and Japanese versions do have translation for copy, erase, and option. The last thing I actually want to go over is that pirate ship in the US and Japanese versions, you actually need 2 missile tanks on hard mode to finish the game, but in the European version, you only need 1 to do so. So this actually lowers the completion rate to 9% in the European version, while 10% is the one for the US and Japanese versions. And that's pretty much it for the unused content and some interesting trivia for Zero Mission. I found the Wario land asset stuff to be the most interesting just because, those two seem so left field, and I would have expected maybe they just used fusion assets or just had more unique ones in there, but frankly, it's still kind of cool. But frankly, I honestly want to hear what you guys found the most interesting out of all this. Let me know in the comments below. And I just want to thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video, and also follow my Twitter, which is also in the description below. So, see you guys later.